RBC Future Launch, empowering youth for the jobs of today and tomorrow.
Technology has changed over the decades, and that's made music and audio more accessible than ever.
With Google, we have a design
Never mind, the headset's working again. Boo! Hi, how's it going? Good morning. You can turn off the Steins Gate music because we're not playing Steins Gate. Ugh! No, we're playing different Science Adventure series game. The first one in the series, Chaos Head. Fun. I would be playing Steins Gate. Ooh woo! Oh whoa! What's this? Alright, thank you. You didn't scare me that time. That's good. But yeah, Chaos Head Noah, aka just the re-release of Chaos Head. A wild star appeared. Yes, she hath appeared. Yeah, apparently the original Chaos Head was unfinished when it released, so they just kind of remade it and finished it, which is, I admire that. So, you know, we're gonna play through the entire Science Adventure series, starting with the first one. So I think it was Chaos Head, Chaos Child, then Steins Gate. Maybe? I know. Give me a second, I have to look this up. Nope, never mind. I'll figure it out later. Anyways, I heard this game is really dark, so hence the the mature content warning. Just as a little warning. Will I be able to possibly finish this game? Maybe, who knows? We'll try our best. You know, it's the spooky season. We may as well go all out, right? I'm gonna see if I can get a way to keep chat open. Oh, shoot. Okay. Give me a second. I am not prepared. There we go. That should be good. Now I can see chat. Yeah, okay, there we go. Okay, now I'm ready. So yeah, let's get into this, I guess. What? Oh, okay. That is the X button is not A. You got two what, Owl? Okay, Chaos Head Noah. If you are God and the delusion becomes reality, what kind of the noids you get? In the sensual world, the despotic society, the destructive sanctions, or dot 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 dogs. Oh, chihuahuas? Oh, we got an opening. This surely is a game. Yes, sir. Okay, that makes more sense. I got you. Some big ass swords. Better than most modern OPs. Yeah, I guess so. That was a trip if I ever did see one. Alright, let's get into this. So I've heard the main character in this game is extremely, irritating, really infuriating. Gonna be editing, let me know if you need a mod. That's what Star said.
つも僕を見つめていて、眼差しは熱くて真っ黒な雨雲を突き抜けて、雨のように僕へと降り注ぐ。 僕を見るな。雨の冷たさより、背中を預けている瓦礫の冷たさのせいで、
Ooh, ooh.
さっきから体の震えが止まらない。ひどく寒い。突き刺さってくる誰のものかもわからない天からの視線。それから逃げるように、僕はわずかに首を持ち上げて周囲を見回す。
Help, my mods are fighting.
そこにあるのは崩壊した町。そこにあるのは絶望。
The children are fighting.
そこにあるのは死。そこにあるのは無。
Spooky.
誰もいない。誰も動いていない。誰も生きていない。聞こえるのはただ降り続ける雨の音だけ。このまま全てを、
I don't know, was
生
it?
きているもの
What
も
did the
死んでい
what
る
did the
ものも、
forecast say?
全てを優しく包み込んで洗い流してしまうんだろうか。全部の出来事が単なる妄想だったらよかったんだけど、どうやらそうでもないらしい。体が動かない。動かせるのはかろうじて首と瞳だけ。体が震えているけど、そんなのただの生理現象でしかない。僕の意志じゃない。僕は身を震わせたいなんて思ってない。僕の自由にならないなら、
Harry seems like the type
こんな
of
の
guy
僕
who
の
breaks
体じゃ
into
ない。
musing about the nature of life while staring at a metal spoon.
あるいは生まれた時から僕は自由なんかじゃなかったかもしれ
The
ない。
spoon, its metallic sheen and the light reflects it,
心の保管
denotes
し
the
てある場所
absence
なん
of
て
the light in
誰
my
にもわ
life.
からないん
Will
だ。
this light keep falling on my face, reminding me of the eternal
そ
darkness?
れなのに、
I should be paying
一体
attention to this
誰が
dialogue,
こ
but I'm
の
not.
体の中に僕の心があるって言い切れるんだ。でも、だったら僕はどこにいたんだろう。僕はここにいるのかな。僕はどこにもい
The
ないのかな。
spoon is my soul. I eat rice with it. That's because rice is food for the
すべて
soul.
が静止している壊れてしまった世界に、ふと死の雨以外の音が響く。無の中から浮かび上がってくるたった一つの湯。君は誰？その肌が青白く見えるのは、雨の冷たさに凍えているから、それとも君がもう死んでいるから。でも彼女は震えていなかった。
I think everybody finds much comfort in
そして
fried rice fig.
前髪で隠れそうになっているその瞳は、僕を見るな。ひどく悲しそうにも見える。狂気じみているようにも見える。何も映していないようにも見える。もしも世界には僕と彼女の二人だけしかいなくて、こうしてお互いだけを永遠に見つめ合っていたら、僕の世界
Egg
は
fried rice is pretty good.
彼女の瞳に映るものだけになるのかな。彼女の世界は 僕の瞳に映るものだけになるのかな。彼女の瞳に映るものは僕。僕の瞳に映るものは彼女。そう考えると、世界は途端に矮小化する。不意に僕の耳に届くとても綺麗なノイズ。
I love uncooked rice mixed with
彼女
a
は
half
うなだれて
ostrich egg. Whoa, that sounds interesting.
両手
And
を
also
左右
kind
に
of
広げ
crunchy.
る。
Never had uncooked
まるで
rice.
あの雨雲の上へ向けて飛び立とうとするかのように。あるいはこの雨すべて
Yes,
を
like
受け
cereal.
止
Oh,
めようとする
nice.
かのように。
How are you doing today, John Shadow? Oh, magical. Oh, that's a
うなだれ
sword.
た彼女の表情は僕の位置からも伺い知ることができない。
Whoa, that's funky. Just checking in.
雨の白幕の向こうで君は
Nice,
どんな
nice.
顔をしている？
殺してあげる。
Is
天
she
使
gonna stab the main
乱
character?
舞する光の羽は僕を
He's
祝
dead
福
before
して
the
いる
game
のか。
starts. Let's go.
ああ、そうか。理解したよ。それで僕を殺してくれるんだね。
Ah,
ゆっ
yes.
くりと
I can see that.
倒れている僕の前に彼女が膝をつく。いまだに彼女はうなだれたまま。僕の頭をそっと抱えてくる。僕を見てくれないことに僕はほっとしてただ身を委ねた。耳元でささやき、綺麗なノイズ。でも
Achilles, the sound
Yoku
alerts are
kikoenai.
still not working. I still need to give you back your points from yesterday.
温かくて柔らかくて優しくて
Achilles,
甘
stop.
美な感触。それは麻酔のようで不思議なこ
Rebuild
と
your
に
Ishtar. Did Kiwi
体の
break
震
it?
えがゆっくりと下がっていく。
Achilles.
彼女のかすかな鼻息が
You have no money,
僕
Achilles.
の頬を
God
擦る
damn it.
とても甘い匂い。
I'm not paying attention to this dialogue because
胸に圧迫感を覚えた。彼女の持っていた大きな剣が僕の胸の皮膚
Oh,
を
that's
刺す。
lovely.
肉を
Oh,
握
you
り
mean an SMT?
骨の間を縫い
I thought you meant your Ishtar
体の中に沈
figure.
み込んできている。でも彼女のキスという麻酔にかけられ
Hmm.
てもう痛みを感じない。
Can't believe my
こんな
streamer
にも
took all my
優し
money.
く殺してく
I'm
れると
sorry.
は
Okay.
不意に切なくなって涙が溢れそうになって、それをごまかすために彼女の頭越しに雨を落とし続けている鈍色の空を見上げた。空が滲んでいるのは雨のせい。
Was the sky so blurry
涙
because of
の
the
せい。
rain? Or maybe it's because you just
Mo.
got stabbed?
あの視線も感じない。
Just a guess.
も
How many of
何
the
もない。
science adventure
う
games have
薄
you
れゆく
finished?
意
Is this
識
your
の
first?
中で
So
僕は空へと
I
手を伸ば
started
す。
playing Steins Gate because I bought it for my
誰か
PS Vita. I haven't finished it yet.
教えて。
I've watched the Steins Gate anime, and so I wanted to play the
僕たち
visual
の
novel.
あ
Then I'm
の
just like,
空
wait,
は
I should start with the
ど
first
こへ行っ
game,
たん
and I'm
だろう。
pretty sure this is the first game in the series, if I'm not wrong. So here we are. Great move. Oh, good. Oh, do we get the opening again? Is it a different opening? I can't tell. We're gonna watch it again anyways, because why not? This a bop? Remember, never use any walkthroughs, trust yourself. I'll be watching. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. Alright, no walkthroughs. We go in blind. No walkthroughs, we die like men. Blind playthrough, Pog. Just don't worry. You got this. I believe in you. Oh, thank you. Prologue. Pog. Oh, that blood. Yeah, that's a little bit. It's a little disconcerting. It's fine. You can't see a gaze. It can see you, but you can't see it. It's weird. For as long as I could remember it, I'd often felt a gaze staring at me from somewhere. I would turn around and nobody would be there. Thank you for the stay hydrated. But I'd be sure someone was looking at me. I've only used walkthroughs in SMT only to figure out where the fuck I'm supposed to go, but never get a specific ending. And then there's Fig, who just kept getting the neutral ending. Right? Was that right? Right, you kept getting the neutral. What was the ending that Fig kept getting? Okay, Fig kept getting lost, Star kept getting neutral. Yes, like your viewers, we can see you, but you can't see us. Yep. Except for Star, because she's in the other room. Like, I can like poke my head out the door and say hi, but no. I could feel the sensation, like something crawling on my neck. Oh, never mind, there she is. Hi. Was I just too self-conscious? Hi, sisters. No, God, no. Please, never. Yeah. Little hole. Was I just too self-conscious?
Hi, chat. I don't know if they can see me.
I don't know either.
Oh, he is out. Hello.
Oh, what? He is?
Yeah, he's just chilling in the back here.
Oh, hi, Akechi. Hi, son. I love you. Yeah, if you see me just talk to someone, it's either the cat or the snake. I have a snake beside me.
What the fuck?
Oh, and Star. Did I have some kind of phobia about being looked at? Honestly, same. Wait. That doesn't make sense. I have a face cam on. Up until elementary school, I honestly believed that it was God. God is watching me, I would say. Yeah, I wrote an essay about something like that. Oh no, is he also a chuny? Of course, looking back, I realized how silly it was. I was the biggest chuny dork. If someone were to ever read that essay, I'd be so embarrassed I'd never leave the house again. Okay, she just walked into my room with a pound of ground beef, like the tube, frozen ground beef, whacking it against her hand. Yeah, I still remember the thing's title. Whose eyes are those? Oh. No, clearly not. The back of the chair I was resting in made a creaking sound, like the voice of an old woman.
僕を見るな
Don't look at me. I whispered those words as I look up at the ceiling, feeling sick and annoyed. Of course, no one responded. Get ground beef? No, Achilles, I don't want to get ground beef. Of course, no one responded. This was my room. I lived alone. Nobody was here but me. Just for the hell of it, I turned around. The room was longer than it was wide, and it was a little dark. The only light in the room came from my computer's desk light. There were no windows, of course, so of course it was dark. I don't eat meat, so I really don't want to get ground beefed, but you do eat meat, so what's your excuse? I don't want a concussion from getting whacked in the head with ground beef. Where's the beef? Since I had no way of looking outside, I had no way of knowing if it was day or night. Night or day, I read that wrong. I turned towards the corner of the dark room and spoke to no one in particular.
僕の名前は西条匠、17歳。水明学園2年。と言っても学校にはほとんど行ってないけど。
My name is Takumi Nishijo. I'm 17 years old. I'm a second year student at Suimei Academy. I barely ever go to school though.
まあそれでも勉強が
Well,
できる方
I
だ。
guess I'm pretty smart at
定期
least.
テストはちゃんと受け
I
て
always show up to take my
しかも
tests
それなり
and I
に上位の
usually
点
get
数を取ってる
above
からね。
average grades.
頭はいいんだ。
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty smart. Of course, nothing happened when I said this. Nobody appeared out of the darkness. The dark space just existed silently. But darkness stimulates the mind, makes it see delusions. Not being able to see whatever's there makes it an unknown. You know in your head what's impossible, but somewhere inside your heart you imagine terrible things lurking within the darkness. Geez, whenever a scary delusion popped into my head, my mind always ran away with it. I kept talking to try and shake it out of my
僕
mind.
は現在アウェイ。
Right now, I live alone, away from
渋谷
home.
で一人暮らし
I
をしてる。
mean, in Shibuya.
この紅会館ビルは父さん
If I
が経
played
営
this
するビ
before
ル会社の
college,
管理会
I
に
would
あ
have
るんだ。
done the same thing. Oh god. Oh, what did I just do? What? Which one's the back button? Is this the back button? It is, okay. I live on top of the Kurenai building, which my dad's real estate company owns.
その屋上に設置されたコンテナハウスを格安で借りて
Oh
るん
my
だ。
god, Aiden. Ground beef Plinko! Oh my god, Achilles, you're brilliant. Do Plinko with the ground beef. Totally. They rent me a really cheap little house here made of a shipping container.
街の環境は最
Living in
悪。
this city sucks. The
僕
part
が
of
住んでる
Shibuya
新
I
鮮
live
町は
in,
小さな坂が多いから疲れるし、すぐ近く
Shinsencho
にラブホ街もある
has
し。
lots of little hills that tire you out when you're walking. There are a bunch of love hotels right next to where I live too. Holy shit, what
ここ
platform
が
are you
秋葉原
playing
最
in?
高だったの
Is
に。
this the Switch version? This is my first time seeing that UI. No, I'm playing the Steam port. Hi. I really wish I lived in Akihabara. Akiba.
ほんと渋谷ってひどい街だ。
Yeah,
円数で言うと
Shibuya's a
ジ
total
ーンズバレー
shithole.
くらいひどい。
It's as bad as Dean's Valley in ESO. ESO was the MMORPG that I made my life's work. It's short for Empire Sweeper Online. I spent almost all day and almost all night playing the game, passing my time in the world of Baselard. Really? What the hell? I finished the game without seeing that menu button. Oh. Dean's Valley is an area in ESO with a lot of really aggravating monsters in it. They use all kinds of obnoxious status ailment attacks, but they don't even drop decent items. Anyone who grinds there is an idiot. Good players give up on it quickly and head to the next area, the Forest of Liat. And obviously, I'm a good player. Clearly, we could totally see that. What was his name again? Takumi, I think. I don't know.
というわけでドキュンと恋愛資
So
本主
yeah,
義
this
者が集
town
まる
with
こん
its
な街は即刻
DQNs
滅ぶ
and
べきだ
love
ね。
capitalists need to be blasted off the face of the earth.
でもこの
Oof.
部屋の住み心地はまあまあ我慢できるレベル。
This room, though, isn't so bad.
PC とネット環境は
My
最高
computer
水
and my
準クラス
internet
が揃ってる
connection
から
are
ね。
both first rate.
まあ学生にしては上
For a
等の機器じ
student,
ゃな
I
いかな。
guess it's pretty good. base
あ、
of,
だか
it's
ら
a pretty
僕
good
はこ
base
の
of
部屋のことを
operations.
ベース
Oh,
って言うん
that's
だ
why I
よ。
call this room the base. Of course, nothing in the room moved except for me. Talking to myself was starting to make me feel like an idiot, so I decided to stop introducing myself to whoever was watching me. It's us. We're watching you.
それにしても
This place is
汚い部屋
freaking
だ
filthy,
な。
though. It smelled moldy, the air was so stale and damp you could feel it on your skin. The floor was piled high with empty plastic drink bottles and trays left over from convenience store lunches. The bed was stacked high with H games. I always ended up having to sleep on the sofa.
片付けろよな。
Clean your room,
誰
you
だよ、散ら
filthy
かしっぱなし
sicko.
にした
What
のは。
idiot made this mess anyway?
か
Oh, I guess it was me. My creepy laugh kind of annoyed me, so I kicked the plastic bottle at my feet. It flew up almost high enough to hit my figure shelf. I screamed and leaned forward using my own body to block it. I've got almost 100 wives, big sisters, and daughters. I can't let them get hurt. They keep me going, so they're very important to me. I cleaned and organized the shelf. I cleaned and organized the shelf once a week. It was the only cleaning I did. Every day I tried to find new angles and positions to make them look cuter. I didn't want my beloved daughters and sisters getting dusty, so I always made sure to clean them. I breathed a sigh of relief and tossed the bottle into the corner and faced back towards my PC. The PC sat in the far corner of my room. Next to the monitor was a figure of from my favorite anime, BT, or Bloodtoon, the animation. Siratan, 1/8 scale pre-awakening version. She smiled at me while posing cutely.
セーラー、かわいい
Oh,
よ。
Sarah,
セーラ
you're
ー。
so cute, Sarah. I whispered to Saratan, and I stared into as Saratan and I stared into each other's eyes for a minute, then I gulped down the bottle of soda next to the computer. It was lukewarm, but that didn't bother
さ
me.
てと、
Now
飲み
then,
すらないと。
time for some ESO. I sank down into the chair and put my hands on the keyboard. Just the act of sitting at the computer was enough to calm me. My ESO character, Nightheart, was a paladin, already on his second reincarnation. He was level 50, the max, of course. He was also the highest ranked player on any active server. Almost every player knew the name of lightning fast Nightheart. And they all treated me like a god. Rare weapons, rare armor, rare magic, I had it all. I had 95% of all the rare items in the game. Not as many as I wanted, honestly. I had more money points than I could ever use in a lifetime. RMT, or real money trading, was how I made money to use in the real world. I had enough to survive for 6 months without having to get a part-time job. I was a master of the chat tool. I used it for almost all my communication. I'd even saved a life on @channel, Pog, a huge message board once, and I was there whenever a festival was going down. So I was reading this Reddit post, and honestly, I'm in shock. I just want to share with someone. Oh, hit me with it, Fig. Get some water. Oh, right, and I had way more than 100 friends on Frapara. That's a social network. Respect. Trust. It was all right here. So this woman posted on Am I the Asshole or something, basically complaining because her husband allegedly took a paternity test on her kid without telling her, and it came back negative, as in he wasn't the dad. Oh dear. I didn't go to school. It wasn't that I didn't want to go, it's that there was no point. The woman in the post was insistent that she'd never cheated on her husband and was asking if those tests can go wrong. Oh dear. Was Aiden that? No! I'm 18 and I'm not even a cis man. How is that possible? Exactly. Star said, I'm 18 and I never fucking learned how to read. Just funny considering we're playing a visual novel. So in an update, she spoke to her husband. Her husband was like, well, I'm sorry I reacted that way and I took the test without telling you, but I always felt like the child was not mine and I was suspicious. I did all my studying on the internet, and obviously you can do that at home. Yeah, you can. Is it good? No. They took some more paternity tests and they all came as false for him being the dad, so they took a better DNA test. Turns out neither of them are the parents. The baby was swapped at birth. What? Holy shit! That's a twist if I ever did see one. That is a roller coaster. Holy crap. Somebody play Last Surprise. Jesus. Okay. You did not see that coming. Oh, okay. Thank you for the play order because I was a little bit confused. I thought it was Chaos Head, then Chaos Child, then Steins Gate, then Zero, and then the Robotics Notes series. Thank you very much for that. Alright. Of course, you need to attend a certain number of classes to graduate, so I went just enough to get the bare minimum passing grade. This was the smartest way for a student to live. My parents were pretty obnoxious about this stuff. So I made myself a schedule for when I'd go to school. According to the sheet, all I had to do was go to school 2.5 times a week. What's the point of going a half a day? The people who went every day called me a creepy otaku, but if you ask me, I'd tell you that they were morons for going just because someone told them they should. Anyways, my life here's not that bad. Bro, what is this sheet? I could have used school only 2.5 times a day. Oh crap. I got so distracted by that gate. I forgot I was talking to Grim. Grim was the screen name of a guy I always partied up with in ESO. I'd never met him in real life, but we talked all the time online. Ooh, after you play set, because I'm pretty sure Robotics Notes is the sequel to Steins Gate. That's what I've heard. I'm not sure though. He brought me a lot of valuable information. He was like my own personal informant, you could say. I sat down and began to type at the keyboard. New tips. Lol. Sorry. Wait, hey Nightheart. What's wrong? You're not responding. Did you fall asleep? Sorry. I didn't fall asleep, but I kind of spaced out. Yes, lots of things in Robotics Notes that will confuse you if you haven't played the other games. Oh, okay. That makes sense. You must be really tired. You not sleeping enough? Doing hentai stuff with your... What does that say? I have to get rid of chat for a minute. With your GF lol all day, all night. I'm not into 3D girls, lol. Grim and I would talk about all kinds of things. Since I couldn't see his face, it was easy to tell him anything. Of course, in the real world, that's not how it would go. So you're a 2D man then? H games? You're really in a hentai mood tonight, huh? You always have really perverted delusions though, right? You used to always talk about used to always talk about them. You really were into them. Something about doing naughty things with a girl in a high school swimsuit. Was I? I don't really remember. Anyway, if that's what you want to talk about, let's discuss something near to my heart. School swimsuits plus glasses. Oh god. Uh Should I let chat decide this? What are your opinions, chat? School swimsuit and glasses, yes or no? Just go with your heart? I don't know what to pick. No, I guess. Competition swimsuits are better than school swimsuits. What? I. Why are we talking about swimsuits? I don't know. Sure, why not? The swim cap is a must. No? I already really don't like this MC. What man doesn't? I mean, really. It's not about just showing skin, you know. A fully dressed girl with no panties is sexier than Panmoro, right? It's the same deal. You don't understand Moe at all. A complete and utter perv, but that's our Nightheart. We fear him, but we love him. Calm down, man. I mean, maybe I did get a little excited. I try to be the cool, silent type. Anyways, what were we talking about before I fell asleep? I mean, I'm sure it was ESO stuff. We were talking about the murders in the 3D world. What was he talking about? Hello, Shogun. Sup? I said, but Shogun didn't reply. Was this asshole ignoring me? I was trying to be friendly here. Didn't he know who I was? I was lightning fast Nightheart, damn it. This is supposed to be a no lurker channel anyways. Well, whatever, I decided to ignore him. That's the nice thing about the internet. You don't have to care about other people unless you want to. So what were we talking about? The murders. I don't care about anything 3D. So it's probably something stupid anyways, right? Yeah, I guess. But pretty shocking still. Shocking. Some kind of grisly serial killings or something? A lot of bad stuff has been happening lately. More Guro pictures? Oh, right. You can't handle Guro, lol. I mean, I can handle it. No, I actually didn't want to see any of that stuff. But there was a lot of fakes and altered images going around lately, and trolls love to set all kinds of traps. You ended up seeing a lot of the stuff whether you wanted to or not.
まあ少しは
Well,
目が
I
慣れて
guess
き
I'm
ちゃってる
starting to
のか
get used to it. I don't PK enough. I don't PK though. PK meant player killing. It's when you attack a stranger and steal their equipment or money points. Only DQNs did that. DQNs were thugs and losers, the lowest form of life. I'm no Chu, though I don't do things that would make other people upset. I never violate ESO's rules. That's my policy. I did a shit ton of RNT though. Yeah, you're the hero we all love and adore, lol. I can't read that, sorry. There is sun on my computer screen. New generation. You know about it, right? New generation? What the hell was that? It wasn't something I already knew about, right? Grim seemed to act like I was supposed to know about it. What's new gen? The new generation madness. They call it new gen for short. It's the weird serial murders going on right now. It's all happening right near your house, lol. Oh, right, it was coming back to me. But I only knew the basic outline. I hadn't really looked into it. I searched for new gen and got a hit immediately. But everything nowadays upset everyone. Step on a leaf and you'll offend someone. Yeah, that's true. Let me
この
see.
1ヶ月の間に
The
渋
two
谷で発
incidents
生し
that
た
have
2
taken
つの
place
事
in
件のことを
Shibuya
ニュージェネと
over
呼ぶ
the past month are referred to as
そ
new
の犠
gen.
牲者は胎児を含めて7人
There are 7 victims in total, including an unborn baby. Ooh.
1つ目の事件は
The
友人
first
同
was
士
a
5
group
人
of
による
5
高層
friends
ビ
who
ルからの
jumped
集
off
団
a
ダイブ
skyscraper together.
2つ目の事
The
件では男
second
性の
was an
体内か
unborn
ら胎
baby
児が出
found
てき
in a
た
man's stomach. Oh,
これ
lovely.
マジかよ
Wait, seriously? I felt a cold chill run down my spine. I found myself turning around again and glancing around the dark room. Taboo. News had a lot of old articles about New Gen, so I quickly skimmed them. Supposedly, the whole internet was talking about it, calling it the New Generation madness. There were 2 incidents. One was a murder case that was so brutal that some TV stations weren't even willing to have their anchors describe it. And the first one, the group dive off a skyscraper. There were rumors that I might have been a murder too. The parents and friends of the deceased all said they weren't the type to commit suicide. There was no sign of a motive, and from a lot of other pieces of circumstantial evidence, it was supposedly impossible to believe that they were about to kill themselves. I took a quick look. Starting to shake and shiver. Not really, don't care. Look at this, lol. What is it? A picture of the corpse.
僕をバカにして楽しんでるな
Grim's enjoying making fun of me, huh? He did this stuff sometimes. But if I let him get if I let him get me, I'd lose my reputation as Nightheart. No matter what I was in the real world, in ESO, I was a god, the strongest. I knew everything. I was stronger than everybody. I was a knight fighting for justice. Nobody was gonna make fun of me. I worked up my courage and clicked on the URL. Is this something I need to... Oh. What the hell was this picture? Lol, you got me. Who drew this? I whipped it up in 2 minutes. You're our generation's Picasso, lol. Anyways, that was fun. But I'm gonna sleep. Night. See you tomorrow in Baselard. Oh right, that Shogun guy was still here. I totally forgotten about him. Not that he mattered. I wasn't feeling that tired, so I decided to do some grinding in ESO. Oh wait, today was the day Blood 2 aired. I didn't have a TV in my room, all I needed was a
あと
PC.
15分ぐらい
Just
か
15 more minutes till it starts,
その
huh?
前にトイレでも
I
行っ
guess
て
I'll
おこう
go to
か
the
な
bathroom first. I look at the figure of Syratan next to my monitor and grinned. I was going to get to see her today. I couldn't wait. Just as I went to close the chat window, though.
あれ
Huh? Shogun had typed something.
なんだよ
Why
こい
is he
つ急
talking
に
all of a sudden? I thought he was a lurker chew from the file type. It looked like a link to an image, but someone I didn't know and someone who never even talked to me was suddenly sending me a link. I gulped without even realizing I did so. I didn't know why, but I felt a terrible premonition, one I never felt with any interaction online before. Of course I didn't want to click it. I glanced over at the clock. There were only 12 minutes left until my date with Syratan. I needed to wrap this up fast. What the heck kind of Kome's trap is this, lol? The world changes if you click it. Lol, what? I tried to act like he wasn't scaring me. Honestly, I didn't even want to talk to this guy. He was making me nervous. I could feel myself sweating. Was this Shogun guy even Japanese? If he wasn't, there'd be no way I could talk to him. Sorry for scaring you. Huh? He was talking normally. I felt a little relieved. Nah, it's cool, man. Why were you lurking? Did somebody tell you to lurk for 6 months before you could type? I was thinking. Where are you from? For some reason, there was a strange pause. Shibuya. The articles I just read about the New Generation incidents came racing back to my mind. Just envisioning them in my mind was bad enough. If I'd seen them in reality, I don't think I could have handled it. A man's stomach ripped open, the body of an unborn baby stuffed inside. And when those 5 friends jumped off a building, they were probably just chunks of meat after they landed. Just imagining it made me want to vomit. I quickly shook my head to get the images out of my mind. This Shogun guy was just so shady. It was making me delusional when I didn't need to be. I wished he would just go away. I'm from Shibuya too. A lot of weird stuff's happening here lately, huh? It's not over.
なんだこれ
Shibuya, shake and shiver. What the heck? Was this Shogun guy just crazy? I'm really smart and I'd never seen that formula before. I decided to run a search for it. At times like these, it was great to have access to an internet connection.
あれ
Huh?
ヒ
I'm
ッ
not
トし
getting
ない
any
な
hits. Was this guy just trying to pretend to be smart and writing out some nonsense formula? It didn't make any sense. This formula has murdered the possibilities of the world. I have no idea what that means. Anyways, what was that link? Am I actually supposed to click on it? Thought you might be interested. That's a lot of image links. Jesus. Sheesh. He typed in several URLs at blinding speed. What was this guy's deal? Was he just entertaining himself by trying to scare me? Was he a buddy of Grimm's and they were having fun with me? I felt the gaze again and looked around the room, but of course there was nothing there but a filthy dark room, the same as always. I felt a strange sense of terror, feeling like you were constantly being watched, kept you from ever truly relaxing.
僕を見るな
Don't look at me. When I said the words, I could tell my voice was shaking. My old filthy room felt like something completely different now. They say that sometimes after you watch a horror movie or TV show, or hear a friend tell you a scary story, even a place you know well, like your own house, will start to seem strange and terrifying, and you'll be scared to even go to the bathroom alone at night. Right now, I was experiencing something just like that.
くそ、釣られたりするもんか。
I'm not letting you trick me. Shaking, I leaned forward to the monitor and suddenly I felt my right hand index finger tense up as I clicked one of Shogun's links. Hey, no. Ooh. To be honest, I had no idea why I'd done that. It wasn't like my hand moved on its own or anything like that. It was as if I'd done it without thinking, that it was the only way I could describe it. It felt like exactly the wrong thing to do, but still I found myself clicking it, as if the motion was completely natural.
なんだよこれ。
What the hell is this? I found myself staring at what seemed to be some kind of strange work of art, something that looked like a porcupine or a pincushion nailed to the wall in the shape of a cross, and beneath the porcupine or pincushion or whatever the hell it was, there was a pool of something red and black. There was also these little piles of something that kind of looked like garbage. What the hell was this? The world of some self-proclaimed avant-garde artist. You know, one of those guys who'd make something disgusting and then say with completely straight face, I wanted to give expression to the chaos of this world. I'm not interested in that modern art crap, guys. It was strange, though. It wasn't really a Guro image. It looked Guro-ish, but that was as far as it went. So why? Why did it feel so real? Why did it feel like I was right there watching it happen? Could a hallucination make you smell blood so intensely that you wanted to throw up? Could a hallucination smell so strong you wanted to vomit? I started to feel a pain in my temples. The urge to vomit wouldn't go away. Ugh. I tried to grab the mouse, but my hands were shaking too badly. My hand slipped off the desk and ended up grabbing the thing's cord instead. I moved it up the cord and put it back on top of the mouse pad, then closed the image. As I breathed a sigh of relief, I saw... Whose eyes are those? Bum bum bum! Plot twist. I glared at the minimum necessary school schedule I created. I never gotten to see Bloodtoon in real time last night. Of course, I saw it when it was up to MewTube, so it didn't matter. But I still didn't feel any better. The last thing Shogun had said before he left. It was like he knew how scared I was of God's gaze. It couldn't possibly be a coincidence. I tried to think of how he might know. Had my personal info leaked? Or was this someone from ESO who was out to get me? A godlike player like me had lots of friends, but also lots of enemies. Well, most of those enemies were just haters, though. You know, guys who were jealous of Neidhart's strength and charisma. It was best to just ignore them, I always found. No, that wasn't what was important now. Even after I logged into ESO, I couldn't stop wondering who he was, to the point where I couldn't even concentrate on my grinding. And to make matters worse, today was
最悪の日だ。
the worst day possible. It was unfortunately a day where I had to go to school. I didn't want to go, but if I didn't follow my schedule, it might come back to bite me later. I might even end up being held back.
眠いのに。
I'm so sleepy too. I did my best to stifle a yawn as I staggered down the road to school at my walking speed. It would take about 10 minutes to get there. Once I started moving, I only felt worse. I felt exhausted. It was weirdly hard to breathe, and there was an awful sweat dripping from every pore in my body. This always happened whenever I went to school. Why did I have to go to school at all, when all it meant was suffering? I mumbled to myself as I stared down at the white lines on the asphalt, but I kept going. My route took me through Shoto Park. Once I was through the park, the school was right there. As I walked by a lake, I could see an older couple out for a morning walk and a salaryman sitting on a bench reading the sports section. For a park on the outskirts of a major downtown area like Shibuya, it was quiet. It was a perfect place to relax. I sat down on one of the benches. Every day I went to school, I would always sit here in the morning and eat my breakfast surrounded by leaves that were gradually beginning to change color and watch the placid surface of the lake. Breakfast was a pastry I bought at the local convenience store. This would keep me going until evening. I never ate lunch. Nobody wanted to eat with a creepy otaku like me, and I certainly didn't want to eat alone when everyone else was in a group. I washed down the cream-filled pastry with a can of soda and stared up at the sky. The sky above Shibuya was always kind of cloudy and never totally clear. This was true no matter what season it was. Whoopsies. My family's home was just a few stops away from Shibuya by train, but something made it feel a whole lot like a whole different world. Oddly enough, the gray sky didn't bother me. I don't know why, but it didn't. I looked at my watch to check the time. I needed to get going or I'd be late. Being late was the one thing I absolutely couldn't do. If I wanted to only go to school 2.5 times a week, then I needed to make sure I didn't stand out at all costs. I needed to be like the air we breathe, completely invisible. I needed to avoid the DQNs, the delinquents and thugs I hated more than anything, and the teachers, and spend my day undisturbed in peace and quiet. That was my goal for my school life. Suimai Academy. That was the name of the school I attended. It wasn't a very old school. It had been built within the last 10 years. This meant the building was clean and new, and it was often used as a set for TV shows with a school theme. I can't read apparently. Okay. The uniforms had been designed by some famous designer, and a lot of the dumber girls had chosen the school specifically to wear them. It was, in theory, a college prep school, but the school's test scores were slightly above average at best. The school's rules were really strict, but they were constantly telling prospective students about how much they respected students' autonomy and independence. It was pretty funny how they tried to trick you. Well, I guess the rules were really there in name only. Nobody enforced them. So maybe they weren't trying to trick you after all. After all, even somebody like me who only went to school 2.5 times a week could still graduate. By the time I arrived at the school gate, there were enough students around me that it was starting to get noisy. I don't like crowds, so I kept my head down and walked through the gate. In my mind, I was repeating, "Please, nobody talk to me," over and over. I had a sister a year younger than me who's also a student here. She would commute from home. Any day I ran into her was a disaster. Fortunately, I didn't see her today, and it made it safely to my classroom. I slunk into my seat without letting my eyes meet anybody else's. For a moment, I thought that some of the girls who were chatting near me looked my way, but it was just for an instant. They quickly returned to their conversation without saying a word. I knew they were all thinking that I was a weird, creepy loser. But if you ask me, 3D girls are way creepier than I am. If you find me creepy, just don't look at me. Pretend I'm not here. Just do that, and I'll live my life without bothering any of you. If you DQNs decide to keep calling me creepy all the time instead, that's your problem, not mine. That's what I always say. I just can't understand it. Maybe you want attention from the people you call creepy. Is that it? I stayed in my seat, staring down silently at the surface of my desk, trying not to move at all.
Yo, Taku.
Yo, Taku. Out of nowhere, somebody slapped me lightly on the back. I jerked and then looked up, annoyed. Is today one of the days you come to school? Misumi. It was Daisuke Misumi, my classmate. He was standing there with a friendly smile on his face. He was handsome, and supposedly girls really liked him. Yeah, this is a funky track. He was also a self-proclaimed playboy who, according to him, was always dating several girls at once. From my perspective, he was a man who'd completely given himself over to the DQN side. He wasn't somebody I wanted anything to do with, but man, you always look so gloomy. Up all night playing games? Didn't get enough sleep? No. He was the only person in class who always tried to talk to me. He and I had nothing in common either in terms of personality or hobbies, but for some reason he was always trying to talk to me. I don't think any cat is in here. Alright, have fun with that. Alrighty, have fun. If you stop by a store that sells it, can you pick up some Diet Dr. Pepper? Yes. Mom, I can't drink regular Dr. Pepper. The caffeine and the sugar mixed together makes me sick. Yes, because there's no sugar in Diet Dr. Pepper. Thank you. I will pay you back later. Okay. He is. What a guy. Man. Alright, have fun. He and I... Alright, I already read that. I heard Dr. Pepper. Geniuses drink that. Yeah. It's my favorite pop. It's like the only pop that I drink. Because I don't really like other pops. It had been this way ever since we became classmates at the start of the year, and I never managed to figure it out. If I was a girl, I could understand it, but why would he want to talk to a guy? I mean, I know you're a hikikomori, and you never leave your house, but try to speak up when you're answering someone's question. If I could, I would. Just talking to a 3D person was suffering. I got so nervous my voice wouldn't even come out right, and since I wasn't used to talking, I would always stammer. I get so scared of saying something stupid and being made fun of that I hated talking to anybody. Same! Oh my god. You don't understand my pain. Don't tell me what to do. I rarely drink pop. Gross bubble texture. Yeah. Oh, and I'm not a hikikomori either. A hikikomori is someone who never leaves their room 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. That's not who I am. I can understand you getting nervous around a girl, but if you keep acting like that when I talk to you, people are going to think we're both gay. Okay. Yeah, Okabe drinks Dr. P. I'm more of a juice guy. I'm more of a, I will drink water before I drink any pop, but like at the same time I need caffeine, so I don't like coffee. So. Ah. Was he lying about dating those girls? Was he actually into men? I pulled my body away from him, trying to put some distance between us. In doing so, I almost fell out of my chair, so I quickly grabbed onto my desk. What the hell are you doing? Misumi, are you gay? Huh? Of course not! Did you forget about all those girls I'm dating? Right. Ooh, you scared me for a second. Okay. And what's more, Misumi looked around to see who was nearby before suddenly lowering his voice. He gave me a mischievous grin. I slept with my third girl from this class yesterday. You want to hear who it was? No, not really. Aw, come on, act interested. It was Tanaka. The human blood wakes me up. I just visit my local hospital. Oh god. Should we be concerned? Who's Tanaka? It's almost October and you don't even know the names of your classmates yet? Well, I guess if you're not into 3D women, that makes sense. He sighed and shrugged his shoulders. The one thing I could say for him was this. He'd never insulted my hobby, and that is my love for 2D characters. He never called me creepy. It wasn't his thing, but he never said anything about it. In that respect, maybe he wasn't such a bad guy after all. Maybe that was why when he talked to me, I actually tried to talk back. That takes care of all the cute girls in this class. No, it's a rare disease. It's okay. Oh. Oh, I'm sorry.
そろそろ隣のクラスで守備範囲広げようかって思ってんだよ。
I'm thinking of moving on to the girls in the next class over. Maybe he was a bad guy after all. At least that's what the girls would think if they heard him.
D 組によ、めったに学校来ねえけど、
There's this really cute girl in class D who almost never comes to school.
なんか
That's kind of hot, don't you think?
萌え、あ、
Oh, I guess you would say it's moe, not hot, right? Oh,
だっけか。
don't use that word when you don't even know what it means.
お前の
Hey, I'm kidding. Don't report me. Okay. Anyways, I know you don't care about this stuff, so I'll stop talking about it. So, you heard about New Gen? To be honest, I was really surprised to hear that from him. I thought he was only interested in chasing skirts. I couldn't imagine him looking at a newspaper or reading the news. That group dive, they say it was actually a murder. Huh? I mean it. It was in Sports Tokyo. Wait, Sports Tokyo was his source? Who could believe a thing written in that paper? And anyway, I already knew that, and also, I didn't care. And get this, the killer was a girl, and a hot one too, according to the witness. A girl? As I looked at the excitement on Misumi's face, I finally understood it. So that's what compelled him to actually pick up a newspaper. It was a girl. It only made sense, thought to myself. Wait, did that mean he thought he was okay with dating a murderer as long as they were cute? I could see myself going for that if it was a 2D girl, but... Misumi was looking out the window and off into the distant sky. He looked like he was on the cusp of achieving some great enlightenment. I wonder what the killer's like. Is she really hot, you think? I'd love to meet her. Yeah, why not? This was a man who made all his decisions with his little head. I was sure of this now. She might kill other people, but she wouldn't kill me, I'm sure of that. I mean, just look at how cool I am, right? Even a serial killer would fall in love with me. No. And then she wouldn't kill him, he thought. Yeah. Man, talk about an optimist. I found myself feeling scared by how confident he looked. I don't really care. Sure, maybe not, but you know, she's probably around this town somewhere, right? You might pass her by any minute. Maybe Misumi was the killer. No, that was probably impossible, but I couldn't rule out the possibility that the killer was somebody from the school. If that turned out to be the case, maybe I could come up with something about how I'd gotten PTSD and be able to graduate without having to go to school. Hey, want to see the crime scene with me? It's within walking distance of the school. They say you can still see the blood. I didn't feel interested in the slightest. My goal for today was to get through my classes without any trouble, go home to Sairatan, and then go back inside the world where I was a god. Kobashi and Hasegawa said they went already too. I mean it, I don't care. I hated to disappoint Misumi when he was so excited, but I had no intention of going. I opened my mouth to speak out some excuse, but he wasn't listening. Maybe I'll run into her when we get there. You know, they say the criminal returns to the scene of the crime and stuff. I guess you'd be her next target then, atone for your sins with death like that. Your sins can be, I don't know, being a hikikomori, I guess. I'm not a hikikomori. I tried to protest, but I worried that he might hate me or try to bully me, and I just gulped down my words. I bit my lip and looked away from him, found myself looking around the room and saw something written on the blackboard. At first, I didn't really care what it was. All I noticed was that there was something written there, but the more I looked, the more something seemed wrong. Huh? Finally, I leaned out of my chair. Move out of the way. Ow, what's gotten into you? Whose eyes are those? Oh shit! I pushed past Misumi and walked up to the blackboard. When I saw the words written there, I felt like my heart was strangling itself in my chest. Whose eyes are those? Oh! The words I always silently said to myself when I felt the gaze of God. I never told them to anyone else. There was no one I'd tell them to. Not even Misumi. Nobody in this class could possibly know that. I said that phrase all the time. Why? Who? For what reason? I spun around and looked around the classroom. Only Misumi was paying attention to me. Everyone else was talking to themselves or reading manga they weren't supposed to have at school or sleeping at their desk. Who wrote this? When did they do it? Was that already on the blackboard when I'd come in? I couldn't remember. Usually I didn't pay any attention to what was on the blackboard. Hello? What's gotten into you? Misumi walked up to me and grabbed me by the shoulders to shake me. Are you listening? Yo, Taku. It didn't matter who'd written them. It was just a coincidence. People use those words all the time. It was just some stupid scribbling. Yeah, just some stupid scribbling. Ho ho. I tried to tell myself that, but I was still really scared. I never did figure out who had written them. I wanted to go around the class and ask, but I didn't have the courage. Before long, homeroom began. The teacher came in and asked who wrote this on the blackboard. He sounded annoyed and erased them. It was really creepy, but I decided I was going to force myself to behave normally. If I let myself seem scared, I'd just be admitting the message had something to do with me. And it didn't, okay? It was just a coincidence. I kept telling myself that over and over until the time for me to go to a net cafe after school, just like I'd planned to do. The cafe's name was At Cafe. It was the one place I liked going. It was along Center Street in Shibuya. There were a lot of loser salarymen and DQN 3D girls here, but you got your own personal room, so it didn't matter. The room I was in was room 37. It was kind of my personal spot. It was the one furthest back in the cafe. It sucked when you wanted to go get some of the free soda, but it was relatively quiet because not many people came by. I would always come here once or twice a week on my way home from school so that I could log into ESO under a different ID. It was my way of relaxing. Nightheart was too well known, you see. I enjoyed being famous, but having to be the hero everyone looked up to all the time was stressful. That's why I like to play with a different avatar sometimes. This character was a girl. Her name was Lissalot. Lissalot didn't really have many big accomplishments to her name, though. Whenever I played as her, I made sure other characters got the glory. I worked out some stress by playing for 3 hours, just grinding, never really doing any hard content. Then I talked about dumb stuff and some naughty stuff with the rest of my guild. By the time I left the cafe, it was almost 9 p.m. Center Street at this hour was filled with DQNs. They would sit on the sidewalk like they owned the place, eating fast food and laughing in their disgusting voices. It made me want to vomit. If you made eye contact with them, they'd get mad and attack you. They were barbarians. No, they weren't even human. They were worse than that. They were animals. They didn't have a shred of common social decency or intelligence. I wish they would all just die. I meant it, too. It wasn't something I was just saying. But you know, just dealing with them was a waste of time, and I wasn't the kind of guy to waste time, so I quickly left Center Street. After leaving At Cafe, I would always stop at either the nearby Mangadarake or the Animeite that was a little further away. Today I decided to go to Animeite and headed for the station's south entrance. There were far fewer DQNs here. Really, Center Street was pure chaos. Just walking through there made it hard to breathe. If I could have, I would have rather never gone there at all. I wish they'd just tear the whole place down, leaving only At Cafe and Mangadarake. Anyways, it's time to look at some manga and doujinshis. Oh, and Bloodtoon's 5th DVD was probably about to go up for pre-order. At some point, I found myself on a narrow street in Maruyamacho. This was the route I used on my way back to base from Animeite. I forced myself to blink several times. Then I took a look inside my bag. There were a few textbooks along with a portable game system. I hadn't bought anything at Animeite today. Usually I always made sure to buy at least one thing. I sighed and started to walk from here. It was less than 15 minutes to the base. You didn't have to get that far from the station for all the lights in the neon to disappear, along with most of the people. At most, you saw middle-aged couples heading for the hotels or salarymen heading to their homes nearby. It was quiet and calm. It was hard to believe that this was the same Shibuya as Center Street, with its hordes of DQNs. It was cloudy tonight, and the moon was hidden. The street seemed even darker than usual.
まただ。
Again? I knew the route well, with its filthy dark street, but today it felt strange, like I'd wandered into another world. Everything looked the same as always, but it felt like I was coming here for the first time. And there was this odd smell, like rotting garbage. I could feel the humidity clinging to my skin. If I hadn't known better, I would have assumed it just rained. The air felt sticky.
いや、ちょっと待って。
No, hang on. What did I mean again? I felt that sense of jamais vu before. When was it? Damn it, I was getting reality and my delusions mixed up. That was what the psychologists on TV said would happen if you played too many video games. Either way, it felt like I was coming here for the first time, and that wasn't all. I felt a prickling on the back of my neck, a feeling like someone was looking down at me. Whose eyes are those? I wasn't imagining it. No matter how fast I tried to walk, the gaze kept following me. Someone was watching me right now. Their gaze was so powerful, I could physically feel it. I wanted to look back, but I decided not to. This was a game I sometimes played with myself. Whenever I heard a small sound or felt like somebody was watching me, I'd play the I'm not turning around that easy game. If I turned around, I lost. Usually, whenever I felt the gaze, I had delusions about ghosts or monsters with incredibly scary faces. Yet throughout all 17 years of my life, I'd never turned around and actually seen something there. I kind of started to enjoy this game since I knew I was probably safe. I'd listen for a moment, then raise an eyebrow in suspicion, then I'd say a line from a manga. It wasn't that I was too scared to turn around, okay?
貴様、見ているな。
Hey, you want a piece of
そ
me?
の目誰の目
Whose eyes are those?
なんちゃって。
Just kidding. I tried to desperately remind myself that I wasn't scared, but the next thing I knew, I'd stopped walking. I could feel the tension in the air change slightly. My face was damp with sweat, and my knees were threatening to buckle. I gave in and turned around. I lost the game, but of course there was nobody there. Not even a passing car. Why did everything feel so strange all of a sudden? Oh. The ringing in my ears had stopped. I only noticed after the sound stopped. Until that moment, there had been a sound like a ringing in my ears. But I hadn't been aware of it at all. Now I couldn't hear anything. It was suddenly dead silent, far too silent for the middle of the city. It felt like sound would be crystal clear. I closed my eyes tight to listen. I couldn't hear anything. This was weird. This was weird, right? Usually you could hear the sounds of distant trains, cars, horns, faint noises like that. So why were my ears broken? I wanted to scream as loud as I could. I felt like if I didn't, I'd go crazy. But I couldn't. It was so quiet, and it felt like if I broke the silence, something terrible would happen. Suddenly, a single sound shattered the silent world. I looked ahead and saw many shiny things laying on the dark ground. They were scattered all over the asphalt. Crosses. The moment I realized what they were, my legs unfroze and began to move forward. I picked one of them up. It was metal, and its long tip was sharp like a needle. A stake? A nail? It was strangely shaped, so I'd mistaken it for a cross. I gripped the stake, dazed. I could hear it, a faint sound of some kind, echoing. A cold sound, one that would make your blood turn to ice. It would start, then stop, then start again. My legs kept moving forward. I walked on as if drawn to the source of the sound. It was just a desire to see something scary. Maybe I wanted somebody to save me, to rescue me by plucking me out of this world of silence. It was like something from an old German fairy tale. Which one was it again? Oh, right. The Pied Piper of Hamelin, where the piper leads over 100 children on a march with the sound of his flute. The sound kept going. It was an awful sound, like something hitting something else. As I walked on, it kept getting closer. It was coming from the back of the narrow alley on the left. Once I rounded the corner, I'd see what it was. For some reason, I didn't think to turn around. The very idea of turning around never occurred to me. It was like I wasn't in control of my own body. I walked around the corner and saw, in the darkness, brilliant red. The first thing I thought was that I'd seen something like it before. Also, that it didn't look real at all. Maybe a few screws broke loose in my mind and the senses had just become numb. In normal conditions, I would have screamed, fallen back on my butt, and peed myself right then and there. It was something that looked like a porcupine or maybe a pincushion. Countless stakes were nailed into the wall as I stared at it. I realized the red blood was pouring out from beneath the stakes. The brilliant red I'd seen was a pool of blood. Faint light from the street lamps outside the alley just barely reached in, making the red glisten. There were also these little glistening piles of something. They kind of looked like hunks of meat. I tried to swallow, but my throat was parched dry. There wasn't a single drop of saliva in my mouth. I'd realized the thing nailed to the wall by those stakes was a human corpse. This was far removed from my everyday life, so brutal, so overwhelming. And the one who'd done it, the one who'd pounded all these stakes into raw concrete, was a single young girl. How could I tell? Because she was standing right there in front of the corpse, holding stakes in her blood-stained hands. Her back was turned, so I couldn't tell what the look on her face was, but the uniform she was wearing was Suime's. The awful smell, like raw, rotting garbage, clung to my nostrils even more firmly. Every few seconds, I felt like I was about to throw up. I put my hand over my mouth so that I wouldn't vomit. And then I finally realized where the sense of deja vu I'd been having came from. The pictures in Shogun's links. I didn't realize I'd spoken aloud until it was too late. This would prove to be a fatal mistake. I saw the girl's shoulders twitch as she heard my voice. Then she slowly turned around. Hello, dead eyes. Okay. Her gaze pierced me. Her eyes were so flat and empty. She had killed him. Oh. She looked at me with startled wide eyes. Her expression then shifted to something that combined a smile with tears, and then... I'm so glad, she whispered. Glad? Glad about what? Why would anybody be glad about anything right now? It didn't make sense. It was so bizarre. I felt a cold chill run down my spine and quickly looked away. It suddenly occurred to me that I didn't want to get involved in anything weird. I couldn't talk to real girls anyways. Also, she was a murderer. The cops were on their way. I was hungry too. Yeah, time to go home. Time to leave. Otherwise, I'd go crazy. Taku. Suddenly, she said my name. I hadn't introduced myself. I'd never even seen her before. I wanted to meet you. Whose eyes are those? Her lips curled into a terrible grin, like a demon's. I screamed, and as I screamed, I ran. I kept yelling until my throat hurt, running as fast as I could. Just once, I looked back, but she wasn't following me. I was out of breath. I could hear the sound of my own panting. I was sitting in front of my computer monitor. My whole body was soaked with sweat. My clothes were too. What did I just see? Was that a delusion of mine? I still felt like I was about to throw up, so I went down to the fridge and got a soda and gulped it down. It was a really realistic delusion, if I did say so myself, but way too gory. If I was even still out of breath, if it was just a delusion, how could I be out of breath? That was impossible. I felt something strange in my right hand. I was holding it so tightly that my fingers had turned white. Until that moment, I hadn't realized it. My heart pounding, I slowly relaxed my grip and opened my palm. Ah! It was a single stake. Scared, I flung it at a wall. Yeet. It was the stake from the delusion. I remember picking one up, one of the ones lying on the ground. But why? Wasn't that a delusion? I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. It's impossible. 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 I began to wander around the room, clutching my head in my hands. I needed to figure out if what I'd just seen was a delusion or reality. But before I could, I slipped on one of the CD cases on the floor and lost my balance. I reached out, trying to grab something so I wouldn't fall. The only thing in reach was the shelf where all my wives resided. By the time I realized what had happened, it was too late. I couldn't hold my weight and ended up falling back onto the floor as figure after figure poured down on me. Damn it, this was just awful. Everything was awful. I moaned and started to see if my figures were okay. Ah, the sword for my Ignis Tan from Jingai Makyo. It had broken clean in two. I bought that thing in an online auction and had to pay a whole bunch for it. Damn it all. I tried to put the sword back together, but even gluing it together wouldn't really fix it. It was worthless now. Come on, this is bullshit. I kicked my chair in anger, then started to cry. Why did this happen to me? What did I do? I sat down and glumly stared at my now swordless Ignis. When the anger and confusion passed, I turned my mind towards the girl's face in the strange sight I'd seen. The fact I was holding the stake meant that murder was real, not a delusion. I didn't want to admit it, but I had no choice. By tomorrow, the media would be in an uproar. I wanted nothing to do with it. Nothing